They think they broke you, don't they? You remember that pain, sitting there, staring at that phone, hoping for a text, a call, anything to show they felt even a sliver of guilt. You waited, didn't you? Every second stretching into eternity, praying for just one sign, one hint of remorse. But deep down, you already knew it wasn't coming. You sat there like a fool, clinging to the hope that they'd apologize, that they'd realize the wreckage they left behind. And for what? To feed your soul to the wolves one more time? To watch them use you like a tool, only to throw you away when they were done? They thought they could break you. But let me tell you something. They were wrong. You, my friend, are not broken. You're stronger than you ever knew. And now it's time to show them that you've been the one holding the power all along. It's time to stop waiting for them to recognize your worth, because you already know it. You've been giving your time, your energy, your love, and they've treated it like trash. But not anymore. Not today. Not ever again. You've been holding on to something you didn't need to, the hope of their apology. But here's the truth. They never deserved your forgiveness, your time, or your heart. You're not just going to heal, you're going to rise, stronger, bolder, and unshakable. They'll never get that chance again. They'll never get the satisfaction of knowing they can push your buttons or see you crumble. You, my friend, are done being their doormat. You're done being their backup. And the silence you give them now, it's not weakness, it's your strength. Picture them waiting for your message. They expect it. They're used to it. But now, there's nothing. And that nothing, that silence, it hits them harder than any word you could ever say. Silence is not just the absence of sound. It's the presence of power. It's the declaration that you're not playing their game anymore. It's your rebirth, your freedom, your victory. They thought they could break you, control you, manipulate you. But guess what? You've broken free, and they won't even know what hit them. They'll reach for you expecting the old you. But the old you is gone. The new you is untouchable. The new you knows their games, and you're not playing them anymore. You've learned your lesson. You are not their puppet. You are the one who holds the strings now. And here's the kicker. They'll never understand what happened. They'll never know that they lost because they never even saw it coming. So, what do you do now? You stand tall, you walk away, and you never look back. They can try to reach for you, but you won't be there. You've burned the bridge, you've cut the ties, and you've reclaimed your power. Now, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Write in the comments, "They can't hurt me anymore." Say it, believe it, own it. Let the world know that you're not playing their game anymore. And if you're ready to take that next step, if you're ready to make sure they never hurt you again, hit that like button. You deserve to reclaim your strength. You deserve to rise. And together, we'll make sure you stay untouchable forever. So let's go. The next chapter starts now. Number 1. This pain is your power. Oh, they think they've crushed you, don't they? They believe they've shattered you beyond repair, left you buried in the rubble of their betrayal. They think the scars they left will haunt you forever, that you'll be trapped in a cycle of pain, unable to move on. But here's the twist. They've completely underestimated you. They think they broke you, but what they really did was ignite something inside of you. That pain, that gut-wrenching agony, isn't your downfall. It's your fuel. And they've unknowingly handed you the match to light a fire they'll never be able to put out. You see, pain is a force. It's a raw, unstoppable power that burns through all your limits, all your weaknesses, all the parts of you that let them get too close in the first place. It's not something to run from, it's something to harness. They thought it would keep you chained, but it's actually what's going to set you free. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you thought you couldn't survive, those aren't signs of defeat. Those are badges of honor, proof that you're still standing, still strong, and more capable than ever of turning this nightmare into something extraordinary. What's been keeping you down is not the pain itself. It's the illusion that it has power over you. But now, you've woken up. Now you understand the truth. This pain is your power. It's your secret weapon, the raw material from which you're going to rebuild yourself into something they can't even fathom. You're not just surviving anymore. You're transforming. This is your breakthrough, not your breakdown. The real question here isn't what they did to you. It's what you're going to do with it. Don't waste time asking, why me? Because that only keeps you trapped in the past. Instead, ask yourself, how can I use this to rise? You have the power to turn this pain into your greatest asset. You can either let it consume you or turn it into the fire that forges your strength, your resilience, your new reality. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's the essence of Stoicism. You can't control what they did to you, but you can control what you do with it. You can control how you let it shape you. And guess what? This pain doesn't own you anymore. It's your power now, and you'll use it to become untouchable. They're sitting there, thinking they won. They're waiting for you to fall apart, to beg for their validation, for them to see what they've lost. But the truth is, they'll never get that satisfaction. The real regret they'll feel isn't seeing you broken. It's seeing you rebuilt, stronger than they ever imagined. They'll wish they could take it all back, but by the time they realize what they've lost, you'll be far beyond their reach. So stop waiting for their apology, for them to give you closure. That's just another trap. You don't need their closure. You don't need them to validate your pain or give you answers. What you need is to take that pain and turn it into something they'll never forget. You need to wear that pain as your armor, your crown, your symbol of victory. Every time you feel the weight of what they did, remind yourself, this is not weakness, this is power. Every part of you they tried to break is now a part of you that's untouchable. They'll never get to control it again. They'll never get to break you again. Pain doesn't destroy you. It reveals who you really are. And who you are is unstoppable. So, no, they didn't win. They didn't break you. They just gave you the fuel to become unbreakable. This pain is no longer a burden. It's your crown. Wear it, own it, and let it remind you every day that they hurt you, but they'll never hurt you again. Say it with me now. This pain is my power. Write it in the comments. Write it for yourself. Write it loud. Claim it. Live it. Because this is just the beginning, and from here on out, they can't touch you. Number 2, shatter the illusion of need. Oh, they really think you can't live without them, don't they? They've convinced themselves that their absence would be your downfall, that you're nothing without their approval, their love, their presence. They want to believe that they are the center of your universe, that without them, everything would fall apart. How adorable. But here's the cold, hard truth they can't handle. You've been living a lie. The greatest illusion they sold you wasn't just their love. It was the belief that you needed them to feel whole. It's a brilliant trick, really. They convinced you that without them, you'd be incomplete, that your worth was somehow tied to their validation. But let me drop this bomb. You've always been whole. You've always been powerful, capable, and worthy. They didn't create your value. They tried to control it. And now the mask is off, and you're seeing it for what it is: manipulation. Let's get real for a second. Did you need them? Did their presence ever fix anything in your life, or did it only complicate things? Did they lift you up, or did they drain the very life out of you, leaving you scrambling for crumbs of affection? Now, think about it. What if the real issue wasn't that you needed them, but that you believed you did? Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And here's the thing. What they did was not about you being weak or broken. It was about them exploiting the one thing they thought they could control, your belief that you weren't enough on your own. They sold you a fantasy where they were the missing piece of your puzzle, the key to your happiness, the answer to your doubts. And for a while, you believed it. But guess what? You're not a puzzle. You were never incomplete. You were always whole. Now, let's look at the truth. They were the illusion. They were the ones who were never meant to be the answer to your questions, the source of your happiness, or the keeper of your peace. They were simply a distraction, a mirage designed to make you doubt your own strength. You never needed them to breathe, to exist, to thrive. You needed them like a bird needs a cage, because they told you that was all you could have. But here's the kicker. The cage was always open. The door was never locked. You just forgot how to fly. Take a second to think about it. Look at all the pain you've endured, the way they tore you down, the mind games they played, the manipulation they used to make you feel small and insignificant. Is that really someone you need in your life? Someone who made you feel less than, all while basking in their own sense of superiority? Someone who made you feel like you had to earn their love every single day? You don't need that kind of toxicity. What you need is to wake up to your own power. The illusion of need isn't about them. It's about the lie you told yourself, that you weren't enough without them. They didn't create your lack of worth, they simply fed into it. But guess what? You're done with that. The illusion, it's shattered. You don't need their approval to feel worthy. You don't need their love to be complete. The only thing you've ever needed is the realization that you are enough, exactly as you are. You've always had the power. Now you know it. So say it with me. I don't need them. Write it in the comments. Shatter the illusion of need. Own your power. Let the world, and more importantly, let yourself, see you for who you truly are. Unstoppable, whole, and free. You've been holding the key all along, and now it's time to set yourself free. 3. Turn off the lights. They think they've got you figured out, don't they? They think that when they come crawling back, you'll be right where they left you, waiting, with the door cracked open and the lights flickering like some pathetic beacon, just waiting to shine for them again. They see you as a constant, an easy fallback whenever they need to feel good about themselves. They never thought twice about your light, did they? They just assumed it would always be there, ready to brighten their world whenever it suited them. But here's the truth. They couldn't be more wrong. The power's off now. You're about to do something they never saw coming. You're turning off the lights. And this time, you're not turning them back on. Not for them. They never cared to nurture what you gave, to appreciate the warmth of your love, the energy you poured into them. They took it for granted, using you like a flickering bulb, turning you on when they needed a little glow and off when they didn't. But now, that light is yours, and you're shutting it off, not out of bitterness but out of pure self-respect. Because here's the kicker, they never learned from your pain. They never listened to your pleas. They only learned when you vanished, when your light went out, and they were left fumbling in the dark, realizing what they'd lost. Now, I can almost hear the doubts creeping in. What if they don't notice? What if they don't care? What if I've wasted all this energy and they just move on without a second thought? Here's the answer. So what? This isn't about them anymore. This is about you taking back what was always yours. This is about proving to yourself that you are more than the energy you gave away. You are more than the attention they demanded. Your light is sacred, and if they couldn't see that, then they don't deserve to bask in it. Let me give you a powerful image. Think of your light like a beacon, a lighthouse guiding every soul in need, leading them through the storm. But what happens when that lighthouse keeps shining, even though one ship after another keeps ignoring its light? That ship keeps crashing into the rocks, taking your energy and offering nothing in return. At some point, the lighthouse keeper has to make a decision. Am I shining for the right reasons, or am I just wasting my energy on something that doesn't care? The answer is clear. Stop shining for them. Turn off the lights and keep them off. Conserve your brilliance for those who deserve it, those who will appreciate it. People like them. They'll go mad in the darkness. They'll try everything to lure you back in, to make you feel guilty for taking your light away. But here's the thing, they'll crumble. They'll feel the silence in the absence of your presence, the coldness where once there was warmth. They'll feel your absence like a weight, and no matter how hard they try, they'll never get back what they took for granted. So, here it is. Stop being the light for someone who doesn't deserve it. Stop leaving the door open. Stop leaving the lights on. Stop waiting for someone who doesn't care. Let them stumble in the dark. Let them wonder what happened. Let them feel the void where your warmth once radiated. And when they do, that's when they'll finally realize what they've lost. Say it with me. I'm turning off the lights. Write it down. Make it real. From this moment on, your light is no longer theirs to flick on and off. You're saving it for yourself, and for those who truly deserve to bask in its glow. They hurt you, but now they'll never hurt you again. Number 4. Live like they never existed. Oh, they think they've left an indelible mark on you, don't they? They imagine their absence is this hollow, aching void, a place they believe you'll never escape. They picture you sitting in the wreckage, replaying every word, every touch, like their presence is permanently etched into your soul. But here's the truth they'll never see coming. That mark. It was never theirs to leave. The truth is, they only think they've made an impact because you've been letting them. You've been holding on to the past, haven't you? Even when you tell yourself you've moved on, there's that sneaky thought that still creeps in. What if they come back? What if they realize what they lost? Well, it's time to cut that out. The future you're stepping into isn't about waiting for them to recognize your worth. It's about stepping into a life as if they never even existed in the first place. Here's the secret power in that. Living like they never existed doesn't mean forgetting them. No, the moments you shared shaped you, but you're not defined by their actions anymore. Their memory doesn't have the power to control your life, your future, or your happiness. The moment you stop allowing their existence to cloud your reality, you're free. It's time to take control of your mind, because your power, it was never in them, it's in you. You've been carrying around this illusion that something is missing, that their absence left you incomplete, like there's a gap you'll never fill. But let's get real. Did they ever really complete you? Were they your strength or your distraction? Think about it. If they really added value to your life, you wouldn't feel that strange mix of relief and pain when you think of them now. Think of it like this. You've been walking around with a stone in your shoe. At first, it's nothing. It's just a little discomfort you can ignore. But as time passes, it grinds into you, and you find it harder to move forward. The moment you take it out, sure, there's still some soreness, but it's nothing compared to the weight it once had. That stone, that was them. They weren't the solution, they were the obstacle, and now you're free to walk without it. Let me ask you this. Where were they when you needed someone to stand by you? When you poured your heart into them and got nothing in return, where were they? When you felt lost, when you questioned your worth, when you needed someone to lift you up, where were they then? They weren't there, because people like them are only present when it benefits them. The second the going gets tough, they vanish. And yet, here you are, still thinking they were some monumental force in your life. It's time to wake up. Living like they never existed means seeing yourself beyond their influence. It's about remembering who you were before them and who you can be without them. You are the author of your story, and they were just a brief chapter. It's time to close the book, burn the page, and start writing a new one. You're asking, how do I live like they never existed? Easy. Stop letting them occupy your mind. Every time they try to creep back in, slam the door. Focus on the things they tried to dim in you, your dreams, your passions, your joy. Rebuild yourself so fiercely, so unapologetically, that the person they once knew is unrecognizable. That's how you do it. You rise so high, they can't even see you anymore. And here's the kicker. When you live like they never existed, you strip them of all their power. They can't come back into your life because there's no space for them. They can't hurt you because you've stopped making room for their existence. You've closed the door, turned out the lights, and moved on so far that they're nothing but a distant memory, fading away. This isn't about revenge or making them feel insignificant. It's about freedom, true freedom. The kind where you wake up and your first thought isn't about them. The kind where you live for yourself, not for the hope that they'll notice. The kind where you look in the mirror and say, I built this, I am this. I don't need them, so say it with me. They don't exist. Write it in the comments. Say it until it sinks in, because from this moment forward, you're living a life where their name isn't spoken, their face isn't remembered, and their actions no longer define you. They may have hurt you, but now they're nothing, and you're everything. Number 5, the rule of 1%. You want to change your life, right? You want to leave behind the shadows of the past and rise above the chaos that's been weighing you down. You're tired of just surviving. You want to thrive, to be unstoppable, to become someone who doesn't just heal, but transforms. Well, here's the truth. It's not going to happen with some grand, instant transformation. There's no magic switch that'll flip everything into place overnight. But there is a secret to making this real, the rule of 1%. This is where the power lies. This isn't about reinventing your entire world in a week, a month, or even a year. It's about making one single decision, just 1% better, every single day. It may seem small, but that's exactly why it's so powerful. Imagine just for a second how much you could accomplish by improving by 1% each day. It might be as simple as getting out of bed when you feel like staying down, taking 5 minutes to breathe, or doing something that puts you first. Those little victories. They add up, fast. And here's the mind-blowing part. That 1% adds up exponentially. Do you realize that if you get just 1% better every day for a year, you're 37 times better by the end of it? Think about that. You could be 37 times more confident, 37 times more resilient, 37 times more focused on your own future. Imagine who you'll become, someone they wouldn't even recognize, someone so far beyond what they could ever touch. But here's the catch. You'll have days that feel impossible. Days when the weight of what they did drags you down, when all you want to do is give up, when the whispers in your mind scream, just stay still. Those are the days that will define you. Those are the days that matter most. You don't need to move mountains on those days. You just need to find that 1%. Maybe it's as simple as choosing not to dwell on their name for an hour. Maybe it's refusing to let yourself spiral into negativity. Whatever that 1% is, find it. Because even on your toughest days, progress is still progress. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And that's exactly what the rule of 1% is all about, taking control of what you can. You can't control what they did, you can't control whether they regret it, and you can't control whether they ever think about you again. But you can control how you rise from it. You can choose to get better, 1% at a time. And don't let yourself fall into the trap of thinking that 1% isn't enough. That's the lie they want you to believe, that if you can't fix everything all at once, it's not worth trying. But here's the truth. That 1%? It's everything. Because real change isn't born from a single moment of greatness. It's born from 1,000 small decisions made with determination. Every single step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You can't leap to the summit in one giant jump. No, it's a relentless climb, step by step, inch by inch. Some steps are easy, others are tough, but every single one moves you closer to the top. That's the rule of 1%. A climb where every action takes you away from who you were and toward who you're meant to be. So what's your 1% today? Maybe it's committing to a goal you've been avoiding. Maybe it's cutting loose a toxic thought that's been holding you back. Maybe it's simply choosing to stand a little taller today than you did yesterday. Whatever it is, do it. And tomorrow, do it again. And the next day, and the next. Until one day you'll look back and realize that the person who was once broken is gone. What's left is someone unstoppable, someone untouchable. Say it with me, 1% better every day. Write it down, shout it out, make it your mantra. Because when you focus on that 1%, you're not just moving forward. You're leaving the past and them in the dust. They hurt you, but they'll never hurt you again. 1% at a time, you're becoming the person they never thought you could be. Number 6. Remember, your silence is your crown. They think they know how you'll react, don't they? They've seen it before, the texts, the calls, the emotional outbursts. They know exactly how to push your buttons, how to get under your skin. And for so long you played into it. You gave them your energy, your attention, your power. You were the one who always responded, always reacted, always let them control the narrative. They thrived on your reactions because they knew if they could trigger you, they could own you. But now, things are different. Now, you wear the crown of silence. And let me tell you, that silence, it's not weakness, it's your greatest weapon. The silence you now carry isn't just the absence of sound. It's an explosive statement. It says, you don't deserve my voice. You don't get the luxury of my time or my energy. The silence grows louder with every passing second. They can't stand it, can they? It's like a void they can't fill, a reflection they can't escape. They're drowning in it, trying to figure out what went wrong, why you're no longer giving them the satisfaction of your response. You see, people like them don't know how to handle silence. They rely on your emotional chaos to feed their ego. They throw their words, their actions, their games, hoping for a reaction, a flicker of emotion, anything to keep the power dynamic in their favor. But when you remain silent, when you refuse to engage, they're left in the dark, searching for something they can't grasp. That's when the mind games begin to backfire. They start second-guessing. They start questioning. Why aren't you reacting? Why isn't this affecting you? Have you really moved on? Are they no longer in control? They can't understand it, and that's the power. But let's shift focus. Because this isn't about them, it's about you. I get it. Silence isn't easy. It's tempting to snap back, to defend yourself, to make them feel the pain they put you through. But stop and think for a second. What will that actually accomplish? Do you think they'll suddenly apologize, change, or understand? Number. That's the trap. Reacting gives them what they want. Every time you break your silence, you're feeding their hunger for control. But when you stay silent, when you choose peace over chaos, you're reclaiming the power they once held over you. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's what your silence represents: strength over the external forces, power over your mind, your peace, your life. It's not about revenge or proving a point. It's about taking control of your narrative. When you stop reacting, you stop giving them any space in your mind or life. And that, my friend, is the ultimate victory. Let me break it down for you. Picture this. Every time you speak to them, it's like you're feeding a fire that keeps their ego burning. Every argument, every tear, every word, they fuel the flame. But when you refuse to engage, when you stay silent, you rob them of that fuel. The fire dies, the flame goes out. They're left in the cold, staring at the ashes of something they thought would last forever. But silence isn't just about extinguishing their flame. It's about igniting your own. Silence creates space for healing, for growth, for self-reflection. It's your fortress, your armor. It's you saying, I refuse to let you disturb my peace anymore. It's a declaration of self-respect, a promise to yourself that you will not let them take any more from you. And the best part, they can't take it from you. Your silence belongs to you and you alone. When you choose silence, you're choosing yourself. You're choosing strength over vulnerability, growth over stagnation, and inner peace over the chaos they've tried to drag you into. Every moment of silence is a step further from them and closer to the person you were always meant to be. So next time you feel the pull to break that silence, to respond or react, remember this: your silence is your crown, and it is the most powerful thing you can wear. It's not about revenge, it's about freedom. It's about rising above the noise and showing the world that you're no longer playing their game. You're too powerful for that. Say it with me. My silence is my crown. Write it down. Say it aloud. Own it. Because from now on, your silence will speak louder than anything they could ever say. You're not just surviving anymore. You're thriving. And nothing can take your crown.